I can't remember a time I wasn't a fan of Fallout. I know that it exists, I just don't remember. The series has been a part of my life since the 90s, over 20 years, and I still enjoy playing through most of the Fallout games today. The Fallout has had some bumps along the way, and has remained my favorite game series to this day. I remember when I heard Interplay and Black Isle were going down. I was a little young at the time, and I certainly did not understand the business side of things. I barely do now. That didn't stop me from becoming saddened over this news. No more Fallout. That is what it meant to me, and I would hear later that they were working on Fallout 3, codenamed Van Buren at the time. And that just added salt to the wounds. Wounds that were fresh to me. Seeing your favorite series die is a strange experience. Wondering what could have been, you feel the loss, and I felt it with Fallout. This didn't stop me from enjoying the games. I would play Fallout and Fallout 2 all the time. My home life was strange growing up, to say the least, and that's something we can get into in another video if you're interested. But because of this, I would often skip school, playing Fallout all day. Yes, all day. Though I have seen many people try the classic games these days. Some enjoy them, others do not. The games do not seem to engage people the way they did back in the day. This could be that we are spoiled on the graphics and game engines that we are accustomed to here in 2019, but it certainly isn't because the games aren't engaging. I would daydream about what Fallout 3 would be, oftentimes writing my own stories and plots that I thought would be interesting. And before you ask, no, I don't have any copies of these, though I can remember a few things. I wanted to see what was left of the Enclave. Who would they put in charge next? Were they completely destroyed after Fallout 2? I remember wanting to see what the NCR had become, considering they went from Shady Sands to their awesome capital city within the time span of Fallout and Fallout 2, so where would they be in Fallout 3? And all these questions have been answered now thanks to Obsidian, as they would go on to make Fallout New Vegas, which would tie up some things from Fallout 2. I thank Bethesda for letting Obsidian take a shot at Fallout again. As you probably know, many of the devs at Obsidian during the Fallout New Vegas development worked on Fallout 2, Fallout, and the now cancelled Fallout 3, named Van Buren. This is why most of the time fans of the classic games tend to favor New Vegas over Fallout 3 or even Fallout 4. From my point of view, this isn't out of hate to Bethesda, it is more about feeling the true nature and story of Fallout in the original setting from the minds who worked on it before. After Interplay went down, we wouldn't see Fallout again in any real capacity until Bethesda would announce Fallout 3 and their acquisition of the IP.
You just saw the first half of a trailer that is going to debut online in just a few hours and on Xbox Live. We think it gives you a great look at both the harshness and the humor of the world of Fallout 3. You know, we did Oblivion on the 360. We took a lot of risks and we learned a lot from doing such a massive game on the platform. We've taken all of that learning and applied it to Fallout 3. We're ecstatic to show publicly for the first time here today Fallout 3 demoed live. Let's take a look.
Bethesda's Fallout 3 would explore the East Coast for the first time in the franchise, going through the Capital Wasteland and throwing the player into the turmoil of post-war Washington, D.C. A very different Fallout 3 than originally planned. So what happened in Van Buren, the lost Fallout 3? Well, let's talk about it. When Black Isle was working on Fallout 3, they gave it the codename Van Buren. During this time, they often used past presidents' names as project names. Black Isle planned on using the engine they made for Baldur's Gate 3 to bring this project to life. Something that would have made Fallout 3 stand out compared to its predecessors, but still fit the feel of the first two games. Due to Interplay's demands, a real-time combat system was added alongside the turn-based combat that was present in Fallout and Fallout 2. Josh Sawyer would go on to explain that the emphasis would have been on turn-based combat. Interplay also wanted to see co-op multiplayer added to the game as well, so the team planned on implementing that. Fallout 3 would have taken place in the southwest of America, including Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and Nevada, with the Hoover Dam being a point of interest. We would see the events of these areas in the year 2253. The player would take the role of the prisoner, choosing the scope of their crimes and even if they had committed them at all. This would influence the character creation with perks, traits, and tagged skills. After, the player would wake up in a different prison, unfamiliar to them. The prison would be attacked by a group which would cause the prisoner to black out. After waking again, the player would be able to make their escape from the prison. In true Fallout fashion, the player could then choose to pursue the main quest of finding out who attacked the prison and what they had to do with it, or just adventure at their own leisure. Sooner or later, the prisoner would become aware of the fact that the AI who runs the prison, Odysseus, has sent the prison robots to capture the prisoners. To stop this, the player would find out they needed to round up the rest of the escaped prisoners and bring them back to stop the AI. The good doctor, Victor Presper, would then take notice of the player, seeing that they have become a threat to his work. He, it turns out, is the one who attacked the prison. he has learned of the history of Limit 115, the Blue Flu, the New Plague. The prison he attacked held some of the most infected beings in quarantine, meaning the player had been infected the whole time, spreading the illness to every settlement they visited in their adventure. Going back to see the places that were visited during the game would show sick animals and people. Most of the NPCs that the player had become friendly with would now be dead. Dr. Presper, credited as the smartest man on Earth, was a former scientific advisor to President Tandy. Presper was born in Shady Sands and had started to grow tired of the caravans that were sucking the NCR dry. His solution, if you could call it that, was using the old ballistic satellite known as Bomb 001 to cleanse the planet of the human filth that now occupied it. So it would be up to the player to find a way to stop Presper or even help him. There is a lot going on with Van Buren in the story department that is actually known, that I would love to go into more detail with, but that's for another video, if you're interested. As this video has good news tied to it. The Fallout 3 we thought we would never see, well, we might just see it. Project Van Buren, led by Adam Lacko, looks to bring the original vision of Fallout 3 to life. Using the available design documents and concept art, Lacko got to work on making the game a reality. Chronicling his work on Twitter, Lacko began working on creating some of the Van Buren maps and sharing them online, even getting retweeted by Van Buren and New Vegas lead Josh Sawyer. Lacko figured if the creator of the original project liked what he was working on, then it might be worth trying to give it a shot. So he began work on the skeleton of Van Buren, making maps and piecing together story aspects from former dev posts and old design documents. Lacko states that his team could fill in the blanks of many minor details left out, but some aspects he has gone to the developers on, such as Chris Avalon, who has supported the project by helping Adam with the timeline of events that were planned for the game. Other information was found in posts from other devs from the project. Lacko has promised the No Mutants Allowed forums that a playable demo will be released by September, but he admits that he is not sure what will be available in the demo, stating that he wants to be careful with promises. He assures that there will be a playable version in our hands though. Lacko goes on to explain that he has no plans to make money from the game. It is just a passion project. This will help his case if the franchise owners, Bethesda, take issue with the project, which is unlikely as Bethesda has a surprisingly clean record when it comes to fans making mods or fan games based off their IPs. As long as the rules are followed, the most important seeming not to make any profit from these products, commercially, which would leave Project Van Buren team open to donations. Lacko has expressed that that is not something he is looking for at this time. Though there is still a lot to be done, I am very excited for this project. Adam has met many people online that help with the project, but he is always looking for more. If you have any experience in the work that goes into creating games, I encourage you to contact him on his Twitter. You can find an article about this project on my site, TKs-Mantis.com, where I'll be covering this project in detail as we get updates. Links to Adam's Twitter can be found there as well. From what I am seeing, this project has the potential to be amazing. I'm very thankful to Adam for taking the time to talk to me about this. Like I stated before, you can expect any update to be covered on my channel as well as my site. And now it's time to give a shout out to my lovely Patreonoids and YouTube channel members. These are folks that pledge $5 or more to the channel monthly, and I thank you for your support. I couldn't do it without you. They are as follows: Jake Russell, Hoppensada, Lisbeth, Nathaniel, Skylar Masterson, Sorry Boy, Squiggles420, SS1234L, and Edgy McGee. YouTube channel members: James Meador, Corbin King, Kyle S., This Old Planeswalker, TKS Gimper, Matt Jordan, Triumph, Mark05790, Mark Train, James Starkey, Craniac Gaming, Combat Carl, Skull and Suit, and Sean Johnson. And ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to some people I call the Tag Team Champions of the world. These are people that pledge $5 or more on both Patreon and YouTube channel members, and they are Fireflare, Nero, Jay of the Jungle, and Clay395. Thank you guys so much for the support. I could not do this without you, and it really means a lot to me. Hope to catch you on the next one. It's been Mantis.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky.